Hello, wonderful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Aniiel Vogue, and you are highly welcome to this channel. If you are a new subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. And if you are a returning viewer, I hope you get value for all you learn here. So, if you are interested in learning how to make this beautiful aso with tassel design, please subscribe and let's get started. So here are the aso I'm going to be making use of. You can see how beautiful and colorful they are, and you also notice that one came in plain color and the other in patterned color. So I'm also going to be making use of matching thread as the case may be, and these are my tassel. Also, I got almost a dozen. I think 1.5 dozen was what I got. Then my measurement tape, my scissors and all. So we're going to be starting with this patterned aso. You notice that the pattern is in stripe, so try to get a pattern and a plain color that matches each other. So now the length you are going to make use of, I'll give you a standard length that work with all sizes because this is a ready to wear clothes. So the standard measurement that I made use of in this video is 50 inches. That is for plus sizes, people who are tall. But if the person is a small size like my kind of stature, you can make use of 45 inches. It works well. In fact, I would have recommended 45 inches because I prefer that to this one of 50 inches. So it is not going to have joining at the shoulder. So if you measure 50 inches, you add extra 4 inches to the length, that's 54 inches. So you cut it on fold. That is 54 plus 54 will give me 108 inches. The reason for the extra 4 inches is because naturally when you are sewing an aso, when you are joining it, it tends to get smaller a little, like it can reduce with some inches, so that you can be on a safe side. That's the reason for the extra 4 inches. So later you can still remeasure and trim off, and out of it you also use for your hemming allowance. That's the reason for that. So that's what you are going to cut, and you are just going to cut one long stripe of aso. So is this one that I will now be using to join other ones. So now that we have cut one long stripe of aso, now that if it's on fold, like this, will give me 54 inches, but if I open everything up, it is 108. Now I'll take another aso and join it at the side. I have a video that teaches on how to join aso. I will drop it here, so you can see I've joined another aso now at the side, just like the way you are meant to join your head gear. So I have joined two already. Now I'll go and bring the plain one. As you can see, I'll bring in the plain one now, and I'll also join it again at this side. But this time around, it is 2 I use for this pattern. This plain one will be 3, so I'm going to go and join 3 of this plain one. Now I'll be joining it at the side. Remember, I said I will drop a video on how to sew aso for those who doesn't know how to do that. So to save us time, because this video is a very long one, I will join 3 extra stripes of pink. Then I will now join another 2 stripes of the aso. So that will be like 2 3 2, you understand? So that's what I went to do at my machine. I joined 2 pattern first, then 3 pink plain aso, then another 2 pattern aso. I hope you understand. If you check the video, that's the way it was. So that's what I went to join. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to join it. You can see the 2 patterned aso, then the plain one. It will look so rhyme, but you will not know that it is 3 that I joined. So it was 3 plain aso for the pink color, then another 2 pattern. You can see what I was trying to explain to you. And remember, I said there's no joining at the shoulder, so you need enough aso to achieve this. I actually got one bundle for each colors. You can see, so there is tendency that the length might not be accurate. So for now, do not cut it yet. So look at the way I am folding it. I'm trying to fold my aso to face themselves at the center. So this kind of aso does not have right side or wrong side. So I'll try to fold it together to fold it at the center. You can even use your iron to press it to be able to get the center of your aso. You can see. Then I'll now fold it again. You can see I flipped it again to cover themselves, so it will look, you can see it will look like they are on top of themselves, so I can get my shoulder point, because we are going to be imputing our neckline, you understand? So you first fold it to get the center, then you now place it on themselves again. So I will show you what I got after I have folded it well. So here it is after I folded it into 4. Remember, you first fold it at the center, then you now place it on themselves. So if you check the M, I intentionally showed you all these parts because there might be tendency that it will shake. It might not be 100% accurate. That is why it is ashoke. Ashoke is not because it is wool, so it is thread rather that was woven together. So sometimes it tends to shake. Do not trim it yet. Make sure that you have almost finished your clothes before you start trimming, because we are still going to remeasure the length. So now for the neck width, I am going to measure 3 inches, and for the neck length I am going to measure 8 inches. We actually need 9 inches for our neck length, but because it's a V neckline, by the time you sew it, naturally V neckline will shift, so it will shift to in between 9 to 10 inches. So now if you fold it well like the way I explained, you'll be able to raise 2 parts up. You see, I dipped my hand, you'll be able to raise it up. So it's just that part I raise up that I will cut off. We don't need any back width. Naturally ashoke is soft, it will still shift. So I raised up and I was able to create my V neckline for the front. But if you don't get it this way, just try to cut your neckline in another way that you understand. You don't have to follow my method. So after that, now we have to create our V neckline facing. So I'll bring a pattern ashoke and I'll measure out 24 inches. Then I'll place it like this on that part that has V neckline, as you can see. So I raise it in a way that there will be extra sewing allowance on the upper part and there will be allowance on this other part of the V neckline. We are going to be using this to create our facing. The reason why I'm using this method, we have different method of creating V facing, but this method is because we are cutting facing for the front and the back. So now you just try to fold in this extra ashoke that I placed. You fold it like this and you cut off the excess remaining ½ inch. That ½ inch is what we use in joining the front facing to the back facing. So you also do this other part also here. You will fold it and follow the shape of the pattern of the main fabric and you will cut it off. Remember to remain ½ inch. That is the ½ inch we use in joining the facing. Just look at what I'm doing. If you do not understand, ask questions, but make sure you've watched this video well. Then now I'll bring another ashoke pattern again and I'll place this one that I've cut. I'll place it on it following the stripe. Please, we need this stripe to rhyme. The lines, all those lines, it must rhyme. That's what it will give you that beautiful V ashoke design, that trending V ashoke design. So you now arrange it well and use it to trace out your pattern. You understand? I had to shift my main fabric so I will not mistakenly cut it. So you just arrange it well, the lines following themselves. Sometimes it does not follow 100%, but try your possible best to follow it. When you are sewing it, you just be stretching it so that they can kiss each other. That's what works. I'm trying to tell you everything because sewing sometimes does not go straight forward. There are always challenges along the line. So now you go and join that part. So I've joined it already and this is what it looks like. While you are joining it, it might not align 100%. Make sure you are stretching it so that the lines can touch themselves. So now I'm going to set this aside so we can cut out our back facing. I'll also bring another strip of patterned ashoke and unfold. I'll measure like 8 inches, so that's 16 inches length, but if it's unfolded that would be like 8 or 8.5 inches. Then I'll fold it like this, making sure that the folded part is where that is on the folded part of the main fabric, and I'll measure 3 inches width, as in the width is 3 inches. This 8 inches, that one I told you that should be unfold, but that part I said you should measure 3 inches. You just notch that point, then I'll cut it out like this. You can see, so that the width will align with the width of the neckline. So that part that we notch, that is 3 inches, you take it like this and place it on your V neckline, on the V neckline you've joined, and you go and sew it. So let me go and sew it so you can see what I am explaining. Like, let me join it. I've joined it already and this is what I was trying to explain. It is looking awkward, right? Don't worry, it will still make sense. So now you need to iron everything, and after you've ironed it, you place it on fold like this, so that you can get the points, and you iron it. I've ironed it before this part, that's why I am just arranging it like this. So after you've now arranged it, you bring in your tape measurement and look at the way I am placing my tape rule. You measure out 4 inches. So after you've measured 4 inches, also from this neck width, you also measure another 4 inches like so. then you try to connect them together with your free hand. It's free hand that can help you in getting this. Then from that point you measured 4 inches, you from this joining of at the V neckline, you measure down 19.5 inches or 20 inches, anyone as the case may be. So after you've measured that, I know that it was exactly what I have. You just try to connect everything together with your free hand like so. This is not really hard, it's just something that you need to study, you understand, and you follow the right methods. So after that, you are going to cut everything out like this. So this way we've now officially gotten our facing. So just follow the procedure like I did from the beginning of this video. If you have any question, ask them, but watch it first, and if you follow it right, you get it right. Remember, I said this is a ready to wear design, so and I made this clothes for a ready to wear brand, so you have to get it right. If you follow this method, you get it very well. So this is me trying to trim off any excess, and voila, here's our facing. So we've gotten a facing that will be joining on the neckline of the ashoke. So another thing we're going to do now is I'll take this to my ironing board and I will iron in half inch. That's what I will iron, so it will make it easy for me to sew. So I've gone ahead to iron it. I've ironed in half inch round so that it will be easy for me to place when I'm sewing it. Now I'll bring in my main fabric. I'll bring it in so that we can fix the facing to it. So this is it. I've opened it out. The part I wish to be the wrong side was where I opened it out to. So I'll bring in my facing. I will place the right side of this facing on the wrong side of the ashoke. Though ashoke does not have right side or wrong side, but there will be this part you wish to make use of as your wrong side. So I place the right side of this facing on the wrong side of the ashoke. Then I pin the necklines together. Naturally, the necklines might shift a little, especially that V neckline part. That's why I told you earlier to measure 8 inches, because by the time you sew it, it might even fall into 9 inches or more. So now after pinning it, I'll go and sew everything. Make sure your sewing is neat and make sure you get that V neckline design very well. After sewing it, you try to notch it. I've gone ahead to sew it already, and I'll just try to notch some part, just like the way you notch your V neckline. You have to know, because that's why you must know your basics. If you know how to sew a V neckline, this will not be stressful for you. So just try to notch every part, then you flip it to the part you wish to make use of as your right side. So this is me trying to turn it so I can flip it out. So after flipping it, you can take it to your sewing machine and iron, or you should use a needle and thread to secure it, like you just do a running stitch round, or you should just iron is best. So after that, now I'll take this to my machine and I will go and sew it. But before that, you first need to pin your neckline. The reason for pinning is because you will be able to adjust it to your taste and you have an idea of what your works look like. So I mostly recommend people pinning their work. So you will not just take this to your sewing machine. We are still going to put a tassel design at the V neckline tip area. So pin everything round first. So you now go and take a tassel. You notice that this plain design is pink rather. So you bring a tassel that is color green so that the color can show. You also pin it on that area. So when you get to this point, you will run a stitch on that tassel. You will make sure that you have dipped your tassel inside that V neckline area and you sew it. So I've gone ahead to sew it, and look at how beautiful it is. It is coming out already and I love what it is giving me. Now we are going to be working on the pockets. You understand? The pocket is the next thing for us to work on. So I'm just going to fold it into two like this, and by the time I arrange it well, I'm just going to measure the point at which I want the pockets to be placed on. So you know that this plain part that is color pink is 3 ashoke we joined. So you are not going to place your pocket on the second one. You are going to be sewing the pocket on the first and the third part. So from your shoulder line, you measure down 18 inches. It's a standard measurement for any body size. If the person is a tall person, you can do 19 inches. So you measure 18 inches. So here is the plain ashoke I'll be using for the pocket. So this design is plain ashoke you use for your pocket, and the length is 12 inches, but I will advise you add extra half inch for hemming allowance. So you are going to weave that part that you are going to hem. Then for the upper part, you come down by 5 inches, and you will slant it to the other edge like this. You are going to slant to the other edge and you will cut it off. So this is the upper part, and that other part that I asked you to overlock or you should weave is the lower part. Now I'll bring a pattern material for the ashoke pocket, and I'll just try to measure 1.5 inches. You understand? I'll measure out 1.5 inches. I'll measure it down because we are going to be using to tape that part we cut off from the pocket on the ashoke. That is what we are going to be using in beautifying the pocket. So the width should be 1.5 inches, and the length, you measure that triangular part that you cut off. Make sure there is extra excess. Make sure you leave enough excess on that part when you are measuring it, when you are placing it on the pocket. Whatever you use for one side of the pocket is the same thing you must use on the other side. So now I'll just place this on my pocket like this, and I'll go and sew it. I'll go and sew it at my machine. So I've sewed it, as you can see. Now I'll open it up because we need to top stitch it so that it can stay well. I'll go and top stitch it also at my machine. So now that I have top stitched the pocket also, you are just going to fold it out like so, and remember the excess I told you that when you are cutting the length of your ashoke, it should remain. You will tuck it in. The reason why I advise that you leave some excess is because you will not need to hem that edge again. It will give it a neat finishing. So you just try to tuck it in like so, and you fold it in. Then you use your pin to secure it. You understand? You just tuck it in, that extra excess, so that your ashoke will not be removing. You understand me? So you just try to tuck it in, and every excess you just take your time to fold it in. It's not hard at all. Then you use your pin to secure it so that it will save you the stress of using your hand to guide it while sewing. Then you do the other side also like that. You tuck it in, and after you've tucked it in, you fold any excess that might show along the line. So in case you see any sewing allowance excess that was showing, you just try to use your scissors to trim it. So you tuck it in and fold it, then you use your pin to secure it. After that, you feel you have done what you love, you go and sew on it. So here it is, as you can see. Remember the point I told you to measure from your shoulder, 18 inches. For a taller person, 19 or 20 inches. So it's on that point you will place your pocket on the first and on the third ashoke. On the first and on the third pink ashoke, you will notice that middle part, we did not put anything there. That is the beauty of the design. So you just arrange it and use your pin to secure it. Please pin this thing. I have my reason for telling you to pin. As simple as it is, if you do not align it, if you do not pin it well, it will be looking disorganized. It won't be aligned. So take your time to pin the both pockets so you can know how the outcome will be before you sew it. So after that, make sure you neatly sew your pocket round, as you can see. So I've gone ahead to sew my pocket, and I love what it looks like. Now we are going to fold the ashoke to the wrong side. So it's this part now that you will now check. You will remeasure your length. So if you made use of 50 inches as the length of your ashoke, you will remeasure it, and you will add 2 inches as your hemming allowance. So if you, this is the place you will now notice that if there's need for you to trim any excess that might have shifted. You understand? You just trim it out, but make sure you remeasure it. You will notice what I'm telling, that there will be a little shortage from the ashoke. So I made use of 50 inches for this person, but I told you earlier that you can make use of 45 inches. So after the 50 inches, I added my sewing allowance also. Dear Sew family, at this point, please bear with me. As I was walking, I just decided to check my camera, and I never knew the next part I wanted to show you stopped recording. It was only just one part I omitted, and I will explain it. Please, I'm so sorry. I just decided to go and check my work, and as in to confirm if it was still recording. I noticed it wasn't recording. So what was the thing that was missed? After I finished trimming, the last part we were talking about was you remeasuring your length and trimming. So after I finished trimming, the next thing we're meant to do was to shape it at the side. So for you to shape it, you are going to fold the bubu into 4 so that we can have both sides equal, so that it will be equal. Then from this down part, you will measure in 2 inches. You understand? You measure in 2 inches. Then on the shoulder part, you will come down so you can get the part your hand will pass through. You come down by 11.5 inches. We actually need 10 inches at the end of the day as our round sleeve. So that one extra 1.5, it will serve as the sewing allowance. So from that point, you just slant everything into this part you entered at the hem area with 2 inches, and using your scissors you start cutting it. So it is not meant to be straight, it is meant to give this kind of slanty effect, you understand. That's why I asked you to come down by 2 inches. So you just cut it off and trim any part that is not aligning around the ashoke area. So after that, you just take it to your sewing machine and hem your sleeve with 1 inch, and you shape the side with 1.5 inch, and you also hem your down part with the extra 2 inches allowance you added, you understand. So after you've hem your down part with the extra 2 inches allowance, you will bring in your tassel. This is the last part in this video. So we are going to be beautifying our tassel with the green and the pink. So you just look at that tip, that the side where each both side join together, you place the tassel. This is the wrong side, we are sewing this tassel from the wrong side, it will only be showing from the right side. So you sew it, then you measure 5 inches an interval, or 6 inches interval. I actually made use of 5.5 inches, you understand, but there were some clothes I made use of 5 inches for, I did 6 for some. So what I will advise you is, you should first arrange all your tassel round, so that you'll be able to know the one that the spacing will fit in, because it has to give this uniform look. So sometimes it might be 6 inches or 5 inches or 5.5 inches. So arrange everything round and measure it round. Then you'll be using your machine to run a back stitch. You back stitch on it and you arrange it round. And make sure that you mix the colors. Wherever it's pink, the next one should be green, depending on the kind of color you use. And that's all for this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. If you have watched this video this far, please subscribe to my channel, and also do not forget to watch other videos also, they are educative. See you in my next video. Until then, keep winning.